Hello there everyone, welcome. My name is Ariel, I am the Sassy Dragon, and today we are going to be talking about the beautiful fragrance Hypnotic Poison Eau de Parfum from Christian Dior. I saw this being talked about quite a bit, especially this past year. Fragrantica.com, which I am a big fan of for fragrance information. I had picked their readers' votes had chosen this fragrance as their particular #1 fragrance of all time for 2022. They also had a favorite perfume new release of last year, and that was YSL Yves Saint Laurent Libre Le Parfum. So that was the favorite of 2022's new releases, but the readers' favorites of all time was this Dior Hypnotic Eau de Parfum. So the interesting thing about this one, as I was reading it, and I always like to read about fragrances and their origins, is that this fragrance has had several incarnations, as Dior often frustratingly does with perfumes. Sometimes we really like the reformulations, sometimes we really don't like them. It really depends on your particular nose, what your favorites are, and how your chemistry reacts with the fragrance in question. So this one was originally formulated in 1998, and it did have a different fragrance profile than this current incarnation. It was created by two different noses. That would be Annick Menardo and Christian Dussolier. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So they created the original Hypnotic Poison in 1998. It was a very, very popular release, and it kind of came after the earlier 90s, the big release of Mugler's Angel, which was a huge Gourmand release, and so it followed along on those trends of being slightly gourmand along with sort of a rich, seductive, deep kind of composition. So the originals for the 1998 were top notes of coconut, plum, apricot. The middle notes were Brazilian rosewood, jasmine, caraway, tuberose, rose, lily of the valley. So a very, very floral heart. And the base notes were vanilla, almond, sandalwood, and musk. So you definitely have a combination of some deeper kind of woodsy notes. You have some aromatics like the rosewood, the sandalwood, and you have a little touch of the gourmand from the coconut, the fruity notes on the top, and the vanilla in the base. So when I looked into the reformulation, which is definitely what this is, because this is a new bottle that I was able to come by, and the top notes, this is recreated by Francois Demachy, and he is, of course, a huge powerhouse, especially for Dior. He's created a numerous abundance of fragrances for them, so he's definitely a big name in perfume, and this would be his, I guess, what you would call a recreation of Dior Hypnotic Poison. So there we go for that info on the nose behind this. So the top notes on the brand new one, which I should say was reformulated in 2014, is licorice and almond. And so I'm going to go ahead and spray this. I've already been playing with this one for about a week, and I really do like it, guys. It's a beautiful fragrance. I'm going to get that going. It is strong especially when you first apply it. Woo! Yeah, it's very strong. And immediately, I can smell the licorice and the almond, especially the almond, and I would say the thing that comes behind that, because to me almond notes almost always smell just a little bit cherry-like. There's no cherry in this fragrance, but because of that mixture of the almond and the licorice, it has, for my nose, a subtle twist of cherry in there. So the top notes, let me get my phone back up again, get these right, is licorice and almond in the top. The middle keeps a little bit of that floral heart, as in the original, with the jasmine, sambac, and the orange blossom. So you can definitely smell that behind it, but I'm telling you, when this is first sprayed for me, it has that very kind of tasty almond cherry, soft powdery licorice in the top. The base notes are the vanilla and the tonka bean, which of course give it that nice gourmand dry down. I almost feel like there's even more going on in this fragrance than these notes say. This is much more simplified than the notes that are listed for the 1998 version. But it almost feels like there's a little spice. It almost feels like there's either a little bit of cinnamon or clove, cassia. It's a little bit spicy to me. The only season that I may not find myself wearing this is probably in, you know, the heat of the summer, because it is, to me, a more cozy, it's sensual, it's warm feeling. It has that sweetness. But, you know, just like something like Mugler Alien, it has, not Alien, I'm sorry, I keep saying Alien, I mean Angel. Got Alien on the brain. But just like something like that, it's sweet, but it also has a darkness, a spiciness. You know, as with Angel, it comes from that deep, dark patchouli. With this one, there's something very rich going on, probably with the tonka bean, but I'm telling you, for my nose, it just feels like there's something a little spicy going on in this. For me, you know, and a lot of people really don't like licorice, but the licorice for me doesn't come out until later. When it's first sprayed, you know, I mostly get that strong almond, a little something spicy behind it. You do get the sensuality is definitely there of the jasmine. The orange blossom is a lot more subtle for my nose on this one. The vanilla is definitely there throughout, even though it's a base note. And I do think as I've worn this, you know, after 3 or 4 hours, it definitely softens up, and it does get more sweet with that vanilla coming out stronger from the dry down. The licorice almond, to me, even though it's a top note, it never completely lets up. It is very present throughout the wear of this fragrance. And I am interested as well because, you know, as I've said about Dior, they sometimes do a lot of reformulations. This is a pretty fresh bottle. When I did the check fresh on the batch code, it was just about a little over a year old. So if you know more about this fragrance than I do, I would love to hear it. I do think it's really gorgeous. I don't know if it would be my #1 of all time, as the Fragrantica voters put it for last year's, you know, yearly vote, but it definitely could earn a top place. I absolutely love the bottle. It has this gorgeous, you know, garnet red, which I absolutely am in love with, that deep dark red color. Also has a little touch of that Snow White and the Poison apple vibe to it, which of course is true with all the Poison bottles. But the presentation of the bottle is beautiful. It does have the CD stamped on the top. This to me is it looks like a light gold being used for the top for the atomizer. And I really enjoyed it. It's a long-lasting scent for me. It does come off very, very strong to me when you first put it on, but it does dry down very beautifully to kind of a moderate medium sillage and longevity as it goes down over the low, you know, 3 or 4 hours. It starts to hang back a lot softer. And I would say, yes, definitely has a more nighttime feel. I could see this definitely as, you know, going out, fancy dinner, even something more casual, you know, going out dancing, going to a concert, a little bit gothy. So, you know, that kind of gothy, you know, club vibe. I love that feeling about it. It definitely has still that touch of the 90s to me about it, which I really dig, of course, being a kid in the 90s. So I definitely recommend it if you haven't tried it out. I will also say that I have tried the Hypnotic Poison Eau de Toilette. I had a sample of it a little while ago. I looked everywhere for it because I really wanted to kind of compare it now that I have the Parfum. But I will say that the EDT is of course lighter. I don't like it as much because it's just not quite as rich smelling. It might be a better choice if you wanted to, say, wear it in the summer or during a warmer month, but overall, I would just pick this for the cooler months. You know, even into spring, the cooler nights, you could still keep wearing this. or just spray it a little lighter if you still want to wear it, you know, through the warm months too. Again, it depends on your preference and on your chemistry. You may enjoy this at all times of the year, but for me, this is more like it's gotten really cold here the last day or two, and so this has just been such a wonderful fragrance for that. You know, it just makes you feel kind of cozy, sensual, snuggly, but it is also kind of a sexy perfume. It's not so much like, again, it's not one of those in-your-face kind of like kind of perfumes, but it definitely has that deep, rich, sexy sensuality to me. So I really enjoy it. It's a beautiful scent. For those of you that know a little bit more about the history of the Dior Hypnotic Poison, please do share your info or comments below in the comments in the section. And so, you know, just let me know what you think about it. I'm curious to see what people that have been wearing this for a long time or have a longer history with it know about the different iterations of this perfume over the years. To me, again, like I said, the Eau de Toilette, it's softer, it's lighter, it doesn't last nearly as long, it's not as rich, and it is not as spicy. It's a little more simplistic smelling to me. And I do recall as well, some people, you know, that almond note, that kind of, you know, composition can really turn into that, like what they call a Play-Doh kind of scent on their skin. And I think that I saw that potential more with the Eau de Toilette than with the EDP. This one definitely never gave me that vibe, whereas the EDT had just a little touch of that. So I could definitely see what people were talking about with it turning like that on them. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you again very soon. Take care.